Hey folks, Jordan with TYT Politics, live from my studio here in the kitchen. It's a little nicer than my old kitchen. They remodeled it, so to the naysayers, you're welcome to come over whenever you want. So I wanted to get into Montana Senator Jon Tester today. Montana Senator Jon Tester, who's up for re-election in 2018. I'm not personally trying to, slam Jon Tester, but a really routine thing, which is a corporate Democrat like Jon Tester having a fundraiser with shady folks. I really don't get a lot of time to focus on these things because I'm either at a pipeline or somewhere else. But now that I'm in New York, I could look at who's having fundraisers, who they taking money from, and then what are they saying publicly. So Jon Tester is a senator from Montana. I would call him fairly Republican, takes money from all sorts of the usual suspects. If you look at his donation page on opensecrets.org, in 2016 alone, $1.5 million from lawyers and law firms, and that's usually business type lawyers, financial lawyers that represent financial institutions, things like that. Number two, he took almost $1 million from securities investment, Wall Street. Number three, retired, old people. Number four, lobbyists, so fighting for the people. Number five, insurance companies, so not fighting for the people. Number six, commercial banks. Seven, casino and gambling. Eight, real estate. Nine, leadership PACs, and it goes on and on. So basically, your typical establishment corporate Democrat that is up for re-election in 2018. Remember, in 2018, there's a lot more Democrats up for re-election than Republicans. So, if Trump is a catastrophe by then, it might diminish the damage to the Democrats. But, if he's throwing crumbs to different constituencies, it could be even more of a bloodbath for Democrats. I'm not going to get into Justice Democrats on primarying these people. People will do what they do, but I want you to know the vulnerable Democrats, who they are taking money from. I'm going to do a video later in the week on Paul Ryan, who's having a fundraiser. So, Thursday night, Senator Jon Tester is having a fundraiser with special guests, Congressman Crowley, I think his name is? Yeah. Congressman Crowley, and it is, let's see the buy-in here. If you want to be a host, just drop $2,500, no big deal. If you want to attend, just $1,000, so pennies, or drop $1,000 to his super PAC, or $500 personal. I don't really know what personal means. Please make contributions payable to Montanans for Tester. Okay, so I don't know why he's having Congressman Joe Crowley as the special guest, but the co-hosts of this are Sam DuPoy and Kirk Freeman. So remember those names, Sam DuPoy and Kirk Freeman. And you might be asking, who the fuck cares about Jon Tester, or who he's having a fundraiser with, or who he's taking money? We know they're corrupt, but trust me, you're not going to see this on CNN. You're not going to see this anywhere else. So I want to show you who these corporate Democrats that are resisting and fighting Trump, that's all good. But they're not exactly changing their ways economically, and that's the problem. So, Jon Tester, he's having a fundraiser Thursday, March 23rd, 12 o'clock, Bistro Cha-Chow, if you want to go. So, remember, co-host Sam DuPoy, who is with the American, what's it called? American Resort Development Association, so they're basically lobbyists for high-end resorts, and Kirk Freeman, who is with Right PAC, and Right PAC is, I think, let me see what Right PAC is. I think it's he's lobbyist for the real estate industry. Okay, so I want to read you a story here about Sam DuPoy. Roll with me. Headline: this is from another fundraiser years ago in 2016, April 2016. So, headline hosts are Sandra Yarton, quote, Sam DuPoy, an in-house lobbyist for the American Resort Development Association's Resort Owners Coalition PAC. forget that clusterfuck. She's a lobbyist for basically a resort and development super PAC. And Kirk Freeman, who's doing similar duties for Right PAC, which is a super PAC sponsored by the National Association of Real Estate Investment Trusts. This National Association of Real Estate Investment Trusts donates millions and millions of dollars to Republican lawmakers like former House Majority Leader Eric Cantor, who got his ass booted in 2014, as well as Kevin McCarthy, who was up for Speaker of the House before he put his foot in his mouth. So this PAC, who is co-hosting this fundraiser for a Democrat, gives millions and millions of dollars to corrupt Republicans too. So the interesting thing, her and her husband, the couple was written up in a May 2009 profile in Harper's that featured their role in a fundraising bash for Congressman Eric Cantor, noting that the Republicans had, quote, sponsored legislation to ease tax laws for real estate investment trusts. Sounds very democratic, right? Very progressive. Concluded the story, quote, there's the usual chicken and egg question here. Does Cantor's support for the real estate industry flow from his close connections with lobbyists and donors? Or does he enjoy the support of the real estate industry because he champions it? Most likely the answer is both. So, as you can see, these donors are equal opportunity. They give tons of cash to Republicans and tons of cash to these corporate Democrats. The only difference between Republicans and corporate Democrats, Republicans just go out and they're transparently in the tank for big business. Democrats offer up platitudes that they're the party of the working people, and then they go do fundraisers with these kinds of people. Now, subsequently, in August 2010, the Federal Election Commission handed Sandra DuPoy, who's a co-host for this fundraiser on Thursday with John Tester, acting as treasurer of the resort in August 2010, the Federal Election Commission handed Sandra DuPoy, who is acting as treasurer of the Resort Developers PAC, a $300,000 civil penalty for, quote, misstating financial activity, receiving prohibited corporate and foreign national contributions, and improperly soliciting contributions, according to an FEC statement. Among its violations, the FEC said the PAC had, quote, received prohibited corporate and foreign national contributions, misstated its financial activity on reports filed with the Commission between 2003 and 2008, and solicited contributions from timeshare owners through periodic billings without including required disclaimers. Sounds like a really progressive person to host a fundraiser with. $2,500 to be a host, $1,000 to walk in the door, $500 if you want a seat in the back. Yeah, so John Tester, Montana senator, Democrat. We'd probably call him, I wouldn't even give him establishment Democrat. He's a Republican, but he's just called a Democrat. So he's hosting a fundraiser with this person. In addition to the DuPoy penalty, the Political Action Committee, quote, agreed to transfer $562,538 to its members' homeowners association and $34,509 to the Resort Owners Coalition. These amounts, quote, these amounts are equal to the stipulated amount of prohibited corporate and foreign national contributions received by the respondent from 2003 through 2007, less the $18,323 that the respondent already disgorged to the U.S. Treasury, says the government's release. According to an account on the Open Secrets blog, which is my Bible, if you want to know how much money your local politician is taking and who they're taking it from, go to opensecrets.org, type in John Tester, whomever you want. It's all there for you. Follow the money. According to Open Secrets, the combined financial sanctions were, quote, the largest penalty the FEC has handed out since 2007. So there you have it. I mean, this isn't like a gang up on John Tester. I don't really particularly care about John Tester. He's just the next fundraiser on the list. Another website you could go to is politicalpartytime.org. That's politicalpartytime.org. They have a whole calendar of political fundraisers. During presidential campaigns, it was a murderer's row. I mean, Hillary Clinton was covering that calendar because she basically, all she did was fundraise, particularly in the month of August. Maybe that's why she lost Wisconsin. But anyway, so why I'm bringing up Tester is because Tester is one of many corporate establishment Democrats. I think they're Republican. Takes millions, as I've listed, from business law firms, real estate law firms, Wall Street, lobbyists, insurance companies, all the usual suspects. And yes, you're right, Colleen, Citizens United is making all this possible. And yet, he goes out in front of the cameras, he goes out to his constituents in Montana and portrays himself as a man of the people. He's literally hosting a fundraiser in D.C. on Thursday with a woman, don't know her, but the facts are the facts, who performed severe FEC violations to the point where it was the largest penalty since 2007. And that story was from 2016. So this is just transparent corruption. And the thing is, folks like Jon Tester, Senator Jon Tester, he's just a dime a dozen. Senators, Congress people, they do shit like this every day of the week, every week, and they do it because nobody holds them accountable. I'm sure you didn't know Jon Tester was holding this fundraiser. And I'll put those story links in the description box. You could look at it yourself. But I'm sure, honestly, Jon Tester and his aides don't even look into the people that are co-hosting fundraisers with them because they just want their donations. But they don't have to look into them because the media is not looking into who's hosting fundraisers for these people or who's bankrolling them. So that's why it's important, whether it's a relatively lower level politician like Jon Tester or Chuck Schumer, who we all know loves talking platitudes about being for the working class and then going to kiss the ring of Wall Street at night. This is a pattern. And of course, Republicans are just as bad, if not worse. But Republicans don't pretend otherwise. The Democrat Party, we cannot fight Trump only to replace Trump and put these shills back in the driver's seat. That's not progressive change. That is not, what Bernie Sanders talked about, which is a revolution. The crisis in this country is real. Don't buy into these, unemployment's at 4.6% and the housing market is coming back. Well, maybe for some people, maybe artificial numbers. But when you go out into the country and you see the misery in formerly middle-class communities, low-income communities, it is real. And a big part of that is because our elected politicians, instead of hosting meetings and fundraisers with their actual constituents that they're supposed to represent, are hosting fundraisers with people that are shady, that do illegal things financially, and are basically buying them off. So as we go forward towards 2018, towards 2020, I will be doing more reports on the Jon Testers of the world. I will be doing more reports on the Cory Bookers of the world. I will also spotlight Republicans. Just because we know they're corrupt doesn't mean we shouldn't report in real time about their corruption. Paul Ryan has a fundraiser on Thursday. I'm going to look into that. And the sad thing is, folks, like CNN and these folks, they have an army of producers. They have an army of researchers. They could find this information literally in 5 minutes. For me to do this video, it took me about 20 minutes to look up Jon Tester's donations, look up the people who are hosting these fundraisers, and put it together and go live. Can you imagine if the media had the will to actually spotlight out in the open corruption? This country would be a very different place. So that's the deal with Jon Tester. I'll be doing a fundraising video on Paul Ryan probably tomorrow and other corporate Democrats. So again, go to politicalpartytime.org and opensecrets.org because you know what? For example, I saw a great video this weekend. I think it was Our Revolution California. Went outside a fundraiser, Senator Dianne Feinstein in California, who takes more money from the scum of the earth and loves herself war, by the way. There was, by my eyesight, between 50 and 100 people outside her fundraiser demanding that she come out and talk to them. But those people knew she was having a fundraiser and know her information. So you could be doing that too. You could be holding Jon Tester accountable, other folks like him accountable. But you gotta arm yourself with the information. I'll try to help as best I can. Thank you for watching. YouTube.com/TYTPolitics. Put up a few videos today. One is a really great discussion with Erin Brockovich, who is a legendary consumer advocate. She broke a lot of the environmental racism and also scandals that were going on decades ago. Julia Roberts played her. She was at TYT headquarters in LA and had a discussion with a few other folks on not just the lead crisis, but the bacteria issue that's spreading around the country. The media only focuses on lead in the water, but there's bacteria popping up as well. That's a big problem. And of course, the EPA doesn't want to talk about. Well, what's left of the EPA, because Trump's taken a machete to it. Thank you for watching. Share this video. I'll see you guys tomorrow.